Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. Next, I want to show you how I changed one word in Exodus 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and the words now reveal the style of the roof for our Creator's tent for meeting with Him. Let me show you the translator's words from the preface of the 1611 King James Bible. They gave 4 reasons for themselves or others to edit the Bible's words. The red arrow at the top points to their 3rd reason to edit the text. By the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next red arrow down points to them giving the title, the Divine, to a clerk named Gregory. The next block of words, they point out they were happy that the first emperor of Rome established the year to the course of the sun. Behind this text means Nebuchadnezzar ordered his kingdom to follow our Creator's calendar when he stopped eating grass. Did you notice the letter S in sun is capitalized? This is to give respect to the Egyptian sun god Ra. Have you seen the Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican's front yard? The last arrow points to your reward for studying the Bible. Your reward is to have a fellowship with the saints and participation of a heavenly nature that will never fade away. There is no such thing as nature to a truthful Christian. Our Creator created everything. By their own words, they were not seeking to know our Creator or Jesus. Not everyone has the knowledge to correct every word. I have an old Bible program that has the New American Standard Bible 1977 concordance to help find a better word. Their concordance has the number of times they use that English word in a parenthesis for that Hebrew word. The translators removed his name, YHVH, to put in 2 titles, Lord and God. I replaced those titles using the letters Y and V as his name. For the Hebrew language does not have a J, O, or W. By using these 2 letters, I am closer to the truth than anyone using J, O, or W for his name. So why is there a single letter O in the Hebrew text 1,095 times? No proper English was used? The blue highlighted text is text that I am removing. The red highlighted words are little words that I'm adding. Gray italic words are words that I added. To respect and honor our Creator, all capital letters in purple are our Creator's words. This is Jesus' prophecy, for I am revealing the first writer's words to tell you the true truths about Jesus. As the text is revealed, you can taste the writer's style of wording. Their words will take your belief to trusting our Creator. You will be watching prophecy before your eyes as I edit true truths back into their psalms. All right, this is going to be Jeremiah 22. I had a conversation that was a little longer than I thought would happen, and I wasn't prepared, and I'm ashamed of that. But the thing here is I found a 3-verse format here in 22, and these here is what's being said. This was prophesied, not said. Our Creator prophesies by YV, and if you've seen the introduction, you'll know why I'm using the word 2 letters. And then I'm using the house for the king. Okay, not a palace, it's the house for a king. And speak not this, it's these words. He's going to speak many things. My words, and he's going to herald these. He's going to stand there, because the king's not going to come out to him. So he's going to herald them, and the guards that are out there are pretty much going to say, hold on, we're going to go get somebody to record what you're saying. But the object here is this: he's going to go herald to him to hear the words from me. Because if I put this in first person, I have to use the word YV here, but down here, here are the words from me. Now, it depends on how first person you want the text to be. And that is if our Creator is going to speak it, which I try to do that most of the time, I would put me here. And I'm pretty sure that's how the prophet would write this. So I would use this instead of his name here. But I'm sure when he heralded, he most likely said, hear the words from YV. Oh, I guess I've talked myself into getting rid of it in this one. So, okay, so much for that bad start. Okay. Now I've got one small paragraph here and another small paragraph here. Together, they are one larger paragraph. Now I've got to put some space between here and find two more. To the king of Judah, I'd have to put to the king, because he should have his name here. And that would have helped us a lot of saying which king is he talking to. And it's not of, it's for Judah. The king for Judah. And being Judah is the nation that is corrupt and bad, what I do is I make it all bold text in all small caps. And then that way, everybody knows when they read it this way. See the difference in the height? That way it's known that this is the bad king who sits on David's throne. And to the servants who enter these gates. This wouldn't be right here. He's addressing you and your people. King is assigned to the people. To throne, on David's throne, you and your people who enter I'd have to put the gates and then for Jerusalem. Whoops. How come it's, boy, Jerusalem. And since this here I'm adding, although it should be, oops, I haven't got that one right yet. I'm going to add the word Jerusalem for the simple fact this is wrong. These gates, you have to understand which gates are being talked about. And there's all kinds of gates that are listed in the Bible. Don't believe all that. Jesus came into the east gate. There's most likely a north gate. You got to understand that there was merchants that come down through the highway. That's the major road right straight up and down all of Israel. And Jerusalem is pretty close to that. So there would be, they could enter here, or they could enter the side, and those merchants that were coming up, they would enter in the south. So I believe there's only really 4 true ones that I can actually point to. But it all is going into Jerusalem. So I'm adding the word Jerusalem. You and your people, and who enter the gates for Jerusalem. Now that means that, see, at this time, Jerusalem had other people in there. The problem with the other people being there was that they were corrupt. They started, let me show you, at this time here, the people, this king here, started meditating to have sex with a so-called female goddess, and he was only like 12, 14 when he became king. I think 14 maybe. And the priests were corrupt because they let him put his idol that he carved of her into his meeting room. Our Creator has stopped talking to the priests right around at this time here. Okay? So in about halfway through his years. These are not related. These are just, these events happened inside these amount of whatever I'm saying here, roughly guessing. But the object here is that the priests are awfully corrupt, which means there's a lot of foreigners in the land. And these that have that practice, the Hebrew people or the Israelis, I made sure that the Israelis are those that are obedient to our Creator, and Jews are the ones that are on to the female goddess. And then we also have the foreigners that are in there that are now actually, the priests are all corrupt. They're all having this practice. And we'll find that in, I believe, Ezekiel, when he has the vision that he digs through this tunnel or through the fence, and then he comes up on the other side and he sees all the priests facing east, waiting for the moon to rise. So we know there's a lot of corruption going on from this time forward. But Isaiah is supposed to appear here, so we don't know which two kings that we're talking about here. Now, and yeah, I'm going to just say people and who enter the gates, because as a kingdom, they're all living there, they're all subject to him. So don't need this, I don't believe. So you are to, and these are our Creator's. There's many times that there's like laws and guidances that are given in the text that show that they're supposed to do his justice. You are to do my justice. And his justice is to be righteous. Or I have to explain why I can't use the word righteous in just a second here. My justice. And you are to do my justice and deliver the one. See, this here I don't need to use, okay? I've got two major words here, and that is do and justice, because I can't just have the word justice here if this is a very important word. So I have to have that as using it as one of the two words. Righteousness means you're the most obedient to our Creator, okay? You must be obedient to our Creator, very obedient. You put Creator first, your family second, okay? And today that just isn't done. So there's nobody out there really truly righteous. So, but that's how the word righteous will always be used in the text and who they're talking about when we're talking about who is righteous. Righteousness would be there is a verse from, or there is a psalm that a priest wrote, or about priests, who priests would loan their money and not worry about it coming back, and they would do it to their own hurt. Okay? So that's when I'm talking about righteousness. They aren't worried. Our Creator is going to provide for them. So they weren't worried the priests could give their money away. So the righteous priest. Now that you would learn under what it means by doing his justice. You're supposed to help people next after the family. And deliver, I've been using the word deliver as from the enemy. And I guess this is like that. So I'll use the word deliver. And deliver the one So I guess that I got to get rid of this because in a 3-verse format, no, what I've got here is this is the statement, and deliver the one who has been robbed. Okay. So those two, you can see how well they connect together. Okay. Now with that, I now have to find if this is one, now I've got to find 2 more out of this mess that work together, and it looks like they're there. Although it looks like that is going to stay up there because this is like also do not mistreat. Let's see, this would be also do not mistreat the orphan or the widow. No, wait a second. I was just now these fuchsia words, those are words that are being added to the text in 1977. I think there was 6,000 words. So the Bible, you aren't reading every word is from the manuscript. They keep adding. They didn't think there was enough in here being truthfully said to add 6,000 more words, and just think from 77 how many more they've added. Every time you see a new edition, that's what it's meaning. They've added more text. If I put and them and them and it's almost like I can't use the word them because that's kind of referring to here. These are going to be like others. And others from, it can't always be him. It's got to be caused on females too. So their oppressor. So if I do this, say I've added it and get rid of this, and others from their oppressor, and say this has got to be added. That They are not mistreated. That they are not mistreated. This has got too many divisions here. This is like I can only tie those two together, and then well, I guess if I get rid of this, although I'm going to move this verse down, so one verse. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this. I'm just trying this out right now. And that's take this, make it small right now as 8 point. And then down here, I'm thinking it hooks to this. Okay. Moved here. Okay. That they are not mistreated, nor N-O-R-E-N-O-R, nor the orphan or widow. Okay. Now that, okay, that's going to be one side of the, whoops. This is where it's dividing. So these two are together. And now this again has to be nor. So let me copy this. I'm just going to go right over top of this. Nor do violence to strangers, and do not shed. This has to be kill the innocent. So now you know how corrupt this place is, okay? When our creator's got to come along and say, this is what you guys are doing, and I told you never to do this. And I don't need this word. Nor do violence to strangers. And do not kill the innocent in this nation. Because they could be doing this in other cities. So I have to at least say that the place has to be all the land for Judah. In this nation. Now, this is changing the subject. So, and yet I've got 1, 2 here, 1, 2 here, and 1, 2 here. So there's probably verses missing. And I guess what I'm going to do is not put it here. I'm going to say that there's a verse here. That's missing. And then it's going to go together because I have to have two of them together. So now that I've got that understood here, that would be a 2-verse grouping. Now I come down here and I'm looking for that pattern again. If you men perform as just do these. It's not for, it has to be like, now if now if you who is being told here, and it's to the people of the gates, but it's those that are in charge that would be able to do this. So I'm talking about judges here. The judges are corrupt. The lawyers are corrupt. You with authority. It's not going to be men, but authority. And that is pretty much the meaning of this word. So I'm going to say, I'm going to just say this. Now, if you with authority do these, and they're right up above, so we don't have to say what are the things. So these, get rid of this, and maybe I should have put these on the end of things, but do, and because it's so, I don't need this. Now if you with authority will do these. Okay, and if not, then it's going to become, okay. It's kind of like he's going to be talking about repenting to come back here. If you with authority will do these, but the only thing is this has to be reduced to one verse to go up here to be connected. And when that's not true, I have to then come over here and find out what's going on here. Whether this is starting something else and I'm missing a verse, or is it really in here that I got to dig it out of this. Will do these in this nation. They didn't ride on chariots. They're living in hilly country. They had horses. What's so special about everybody riding on horses and his servants and his people? I'm getting this is not really necessary. Of this house, of this nation, or in this nation, sitting in David's place on his throne. Now, this I think is out because this isn't tying to it. He's tying, this text has got to tie to that. So I'm going to try to do it with these words. We'll do these. It's almost like I got to replace the word kings with the word many will come. That's I got to add the word many, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Or let's just say that I don't know what this is and that there's a verse missing here. So I'm going to just put it down as this part is missing. And now separate that. Yeah, because I'm trying to find this here to hook to something else. And if I find other verses that go with this, then I can almost guess what goes in here. At least I'm able to sometimes. Nope. This is like too far away from here. But it is like it's trying to connect to the verses that are empty or gone. But if it's, you will not obey these words, then here, that would be tying it together. That's right. This is all wrong. This is gone. And that's why I'm doing this, for history's sake, to let you see my thinking behind things. Because do no violence to strangers. This hooks together, because if you do not obey these, my words, you will become a desolation. Okay. Because see how the subject is going to change? So this is going to be the end, I think, of the text, what he's going to say at the king's house. No, do no violence to strangers. That means these aren't needed. They're separated. Okay. Then it comes up to this. But if you do not, I need the words do. But if you do not obey my words, if you do not obey my words, It's not this house, it's going to be this nation. Will be, oops, got that wrong. And I'll just change it to one word here and get rid of this. Desolate. Empty. I don't know how other I can say that. But this is like this. Because this is not needed. You do not obey my words. Because he's talking to the king, your nation will be gone. Okay. Now, like I said, that's funny how you can get rid of a bunch of words and they stacked it in there later or when they rewrote the text for their God. So, and that was, Jesus said those words. For thus is concerning the house. Now, this is a city that is where Samuel lived, or his parents came from, and is the only thing I can find as a major event to say like this city. Other than that, no. This is not even in the Promised Land. That's in Lebanon, and it's a mountain and not a summit, but it actually has white snow cap. I'm pretty sure pretty much all year long. Wow, here, if I go here and if I skip over this, be mostly assured. Yeah, because this doesn't need to be said. He's already been saying that this is here, so I can make this up here, and that's separate, so keep that for history that I looked at them that way. Yet mostly assured, I will make you like a wilderness. And because he's talking to the king, it'll be your cities will not be inhabited. I guess that's okay. It just seems that I've done so much of this text that when you get a certain style of a writer and all these that I'm doing, this text is more or less like what people would talk about hundreds of years later, not at this time. So that's what I'm also trying to do, is make sure that that gets put into the text and not try to take out the newest words. And let me find out what these two words are in the NSAB. Cancel. Let's see. Jeremiah. Even though the last prophet, we got a bunch of prophets that's, And this is 22. So let me get to chapter 22. And if I'm a 7, so let me get to 5. And down here, most, yeah. Uh-oh. I got a word here that it's not going to change. They're using 2 words to be 1, or maybe even 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I see what they're doing. These 2 words are being repeated. So I see the word truly. Nevertheless. No, they're using the word most. Where's most here? Oh, most is surely. It's used once, and we found it. If 580 something. I look for the ones that have the most amount of words to say that that's the word that I should be using. But then I try to look for something like this, or like the word or, the next group of words. And then if I don't see anything, I just say I'm adding the text and correcting it. Because now there's a lot of words here, because this has got a second part. Wow, maybe even a third part. Also not a word not included in the concordance. Yeah, a lot of times Strong did not put every word. He put in what he thought was the most important words that needed to be discussed. Everybody else would know what the word ands, ofs, thus were about. So unsparing, oh, it's only used once. Surely, 27 times. I could use most surely. And that's what I'll use. I'll do that. And then I'm most surely. Your nation will become desolate. Most surely. That's an odd way of saying it. Most surely I will make you like a wilderness. Now, you have to understand what the word wilderness means. Because forests would be lush green trees. When we get to a desert, just sand. But when we get to the land that goes in between them, where you have spots of land with sand around them and trees that might not have all green leaves, but like wind wept or swept to where there's only half the leaves or whatever, and some are just barely green. This is the wilderness, okay? Because the wilderness doesn't have a lot of animals living there that they can live off. It's because animals need green. Most surely I will make you like a wilderness, and your cities will not be inhabited. Yeah, I guess that's, now that works up here with desolation. That's exactly what that is. So that becomes No, I said that this and this go together. So I guess I got to find another one. Oh, yeah, he's going to tell him why now. So, okay. And that's set apart destroyers that I will send. He's going to send a Babylon. So I will send that set. For I will send destroyers. Don't need these words. I will send destroyers. Destroyers is an army. So I will say this and put in army. Armies. I know I remember what he said before. And that is armies are coming. Or your enemies are coming. An army. I'm just going to put army. An army. I will send an army to cut down your choice trees. And this cedars are in Lebanon. They didn't grow in Israel. So it's got to be trees. And what they're going to do with these is set up ramparts to get into the cities for their armies to come over the walls. So they will cut down your choice trees because no. I will send an army and they will cut down your choicest trees. Not throw them into the fire because that's wrong. I just got done telling you why. But that does hook to that, so it's going to be stuck there. Then, but there's a lot missing here because he's got to say that he's going to kill him by the sword, and then who's ever left. I mean, this is going to go with other parts that's above because this part is missing here because this is being restated again just a little bit differently. Then many and nations aren't going to be going by there. Then many people will pass by your cities. Now this is odd because it's not finishing up. Although that, okay, yeah, this I don't need that big of a space, but these two are to go together. If I got 1, 2, 3, then it's actually this. Why did I think that this went there? Okay, that's why. These two, that one and this one, then this one and this one. Okay. Now it's these two that have to tell the story. Then many people will pass by your cities. But this is weird. This is where it gets strange because, like I said, some of these verses don't add up correctly here. Is needs to be left out here for right now. I've got too many keyboards showing up here. I'll probably break that one. Okay, sorry, the keyboard switched something else on over here. What a mess. Then many people will pass by your cities. I want to say saying to each other. If I put the word saying up here, then many people will pass by, not here. Don't need this word. Get back to the original word here, then not use it. Many people will pass by saying. To one another. Why have we done this to this nation? It has to be nation. Not great city, but it's got to be nation. Whoops. Done this to this great nation. Okay, now that actually did come out better than I thought it was. I thought I was going to have more problems with it. And so that and this, now those two will connect together. And now I've got, then they will answer because they forsook the covenant of, this will not be of, but with YV. And like I was saying, this is the 12 commandments that were, you seen in the intro. That was the agreement to stay in the nation. You had to obey the commandments. If not, you were sent out of the nation. Later, you needed to be forgiven to enter into heaven. And then later, it was Jesus was assigned as how you were to enter into heaven, all based on the commandments. So, covenant is not covenant. This would be promises. Promises, it starts out as saying it's a covenant, but when you add up all the promises, it's really promises because you can't say it's a covenant every time when he's adding to his promises. This would be from because they went on to another god. So you have to understand that this meant that they broke the 12 commandments, the first, I think, 2 or 3. Anyways, and that means that he gets the right to throw them off the promised land, because that was the agreement that he made with them in the Sinai, that he will always take care of them, provide for them, and keep them from being conquered. The promises from YHVH. They not forsook, they disbelieved the promises from YHVH. Then they will answer, because they disbelieve the yes, that's what I'm saying. That's a comma, that's a period. That's a period. Okay. Bow down. I think I'm going to start editing the text where it says bowed to worship. And we learned that is what the word worship means, is bowing down to a god, okay? Or in the Hebrew case, Israel's case, it would be respecting and honoring our Creator is how you worshiped him, okay? Because there's no act that needs to be done. Okay, now I got a flash here. They want me to disable that. Okay, that was strange. I looked over there and seen that, yes, it popped up there. So, okay. I'm on both YouTube and Twitch right now. So they worship this way. They're worshiping by bowing down to another god. Whoops, not want that, but I want this. To other gods. And what I do here is, because our Creator's going to say this, I'm going to only put one capital letter in there, like this, other gods, and then he'll be saying it like this. They bowed and bowed to worship. Just got done explaining what it means, so I better keep it that way. And it can't be the word and. It has to be for they bowed to worship another god. That's the right answer. Get rid of this. All right. And to serve and obey them. Now, because this I'm adding, and my keys shortcut key is not working, I'm adding this word. To other gods and served and obeyed them. Okay. Now, That would be a comma, period. Period. Let's see here. Let me see here. I'm afraid to put up some other text here off to the side so you can see how the format, but maybe I should show it just now just to show what I'm looking for. This is the format that's here. How you doing? What is this? J-Stone ASAP? That's kind of clever. But this is the format that I'm looking for, where it's like a statement, and then these, so I put a period, and then this would be a comma, and this would be a period, and these two are defining or help to explain what this is about to become a small paragraph. Then it repeats itself, and then these subjects are together as one large paragraph. I'm having a pretty good day. I finally got to get Twitch running. It had been shutting off on me as soon as I started. Seems I needed a new extension in my stream key and added on the end, but it took me a long time to find it on Twitch. But this is the formats that you're seeing. Then I put them in space, and then it repeats and repeats. So that's what I'm looking for here. Yeah, I was earlier, I had a Muslim come on, and for probably about 30 minutes we chatted, and he wants to come back, and when I get my new computer set up, I got it half done over there. Wrong parts, have to get more sent to me. But I'm going to have like Zoom, what is the other one? Skype up and running, and then he wants to come on and discuss things with me. So I'm going to set up a time for him to discuss his differences. In my descriptions on YouTube, I have text in there that our Creator has made me see Him 8 times. And there is a video that's listed there that's called Proof of Afterlife. In the Proof of Afterlife, I give you a good summary of me and explaining how our Creator made me see Him. You have to, you visit another dimension of time and space. You've seen prophets have visions. This is what visions are about. Either there's 2 types of visions. One vision is at night. When you're sleeping, this happens for our Creator to talk to him. The other time is during the day, that the body becomes weak. You pretty much pass out, and you experience your soul leaving your body, and then this vision happens in front of you. This is what Ezekiel had. So I try to say that I don't have a belief. I know our Creator exists. By explaining it that way and having video to show that is most important, that people understand what's going on. Let me bring up, because you didn't see the intro. In my intro, I show that there is actually 12 commandments in Exodus 20, 1 through 17. I think you just text something. What is your YouTube channel? You can see my name underneath right now. And just search that name on YouTube, and you'll find my channel. I've got things that are videos in there that says, like, do you know where heaven is located? And then I'll tell you how where heaven is located by the text. I will tell you how Jesus says there's no such thing as Trinity, and he defines what is Holy Spirit. And I'm pointing out that the Bible was actually written by atheists, or being edited and put together by atheists. And here's my proof. This is the 1611 preface, which means it's a message from the translators in 1611, how they translated the text. And it's kind of curious that one of the fourth ways is by the light and feeling we have attained unto ourselves. Okay, and then they named Gregory a great clerk. That means he worked in the Vatican. Gregory is the divine, in a capital D, by the way. And then down here, they wrote, because this text is actually probably, I think, 12 pages long. And I just cut some excerpts out of it here. The first Roman emperor corrected the calendar. Now, they were happy that this was done when he corrected the calendar and ordered the year according to the course of the sun with a capital S on it. That's the sun god Ra. And I have verses in Psalms that says the sun is our God. That comes from different Bibles. I've got all that added together. It says he cloaks himself in light. He created the earth, the moon, and heaven. So, but the thing here is they're happy to go back to a pagan calendar. But what calendar was going on before this means that it was when Nebuchadnezzar woke up eating grass, he proclaimed that Daniel's creator is the highest God of all gods. And he changed the whole nation's timeline to our creator's timeline. So, and that's the summer solstice, by the way, is the first day of the year. And then down here, they put, lastly, and the end reward for studying the text, that's the Bible that they're going to put there, is just to have a fellowship with the saints and a participation of a heavenly nature. When our Creator made everything, there is no such thing as a heavenly nature, not even nature. So many secular words come out of Christians' mouths right now that there is no such thing as nature. What is, okay? But that's how that's in their words this way. So, but what I've also can do is, because I've been doing this for 30 years, I can change one word here in Exodus 26:26 from bars to arches, and now you know what the tent for the roof of his tent looks like. The ones here, they aren't listed. I've counted every board, and I put the numbers of actually how many boards are correct as well in the text. So, and if you go to my website, there's a few books there that is our creator's hidden formats, not just the first writer's formats. This text will become second to that text. And I'm going to post that probably. I've got the book done. I'm trying to get like some of the books that I've done here. I got to get ready and then redo my really simple web page. It's pretty text oriented, but I got to update my web page and put on the latest. Because every year I've learned a little bit more every time. So what I've got here, is these are known as a psalm, by the way, and together they are psalms. And all of these here you're seeing are psalms in two different formats. I'm trying to find the other one here. These seem to be all three. I know I've got four here. Well, there's a 3 and a force. Come on, force. Where are you at? Okay, here's the 4s. And that means that 4s do this. That it's 2 short verses together that makes a long paragraph. So then that format appears. But for right now, I'm trying to just show the first writer's formats that I can find. And when I'm saying that, this is structured that I'm using one major word and one major word here, and then connecting it with the least amount of words. So you see this and you see this. And that's what you're seeing in all the formats that I showed you, either 2 or 4 verse. And what is unique about this one and proves that they're there is that this one is a statement and these connect together. And then what'll happen is it keeps repeating itself. And I'm not doing it on purpose. I could not make one come up with the other. And that's why I found the 4 verse, because the sentences do connect. Like what you see, this sentence here, and this one here, they connect together. So, okay. Do not weep for the dead. Now this is a change of a subject. And so that might be the end of this prophecy here. I just need to put a few here, and let me go out here a little bit so I can read it. This is going to start sounding like this is just Jeremiah writing down notes of what happened after they left the land. So like, we did not weep for the dead or mourn for them. We did not. Because when the Babylon came through, they were pretty ruthless. They killed a lot of people, slaughtered them. And then took them captives. Now, after that, Jeremiah was actually, because the commander at the time that would come down, he had heard about this prophet that, I mean, like, he's got to be gathering hundreds of people together to take them to Babylon. They would all been saying Jeremiah was right, and I'm sure he's going by and he's hearing this. Then he's probably saying, who's Jeremiah? And they told him the story that he's the one that is our prophet, and he predicted that you guys are coming down, and what you did by burning his house down, by burning our whole Jerusalem down, and all our cities you destroyed. He told us you were going to do that pretty soon, and you did. So he released them. He sent his top commander guard to find Jeremiah that was still as a prisoner, and released him and said, here you go, and I'll give you some money here so you can start existing, but you can either come to us with Babylon or stay here with the ill, sick, and those that hid themselves from us. So this is what the text is. He's going to be saying these things at this time. We did not weep for the dead, and this is going to be nor, to put it into English today a little bit, nor mourn for them. And then need this and don't need this. But wept continually. No, you just got done saying why they wouldn't. So it can't be done this way. For the one that goes away. Oh, then the ones that did go into captivity. I jumped pretty quick here. So this is not two verses like this connecting together to make what I've seen above. It's kind of like a different style within these styles. So other than that, I'm looking for, by the way, this is an added word in the New American Standard 1977, and that's because I'm using this concordance to help me look for correct or better usages of words. If I can't find them, I put them in gray and say I've just had to add it. The word's so far gone. But it has to be we. Let me grab it from here. Whoops. We did weep for but we did weep for our, and it's going to be the ones that went into exile. So do I use the word exile or captives? So that's what I'm going to decide on this next word here. But I don't need this. This word here has to be decided. But we did weep for our captives who have gone away and will never return. Okay. So I don't need to do this. I don't need that text. I've got enough here. This one is going to be gone. Who was taken away. T-A-K-E, taken. 30 years on the keyboard, and I still one finger peck at a time. Okay, that made you smile. Okay. But we did not weep for our, but we did weep for our exiles. I'm going to have to do exiles. And I think exiles who were taken away for that generation that went away, yes and no. Okay, so I'm having a hard time with this right now in my head when I'm typing, because I know Daniel is the one who's coming back, and Daniel was a captive when he left, but he was young. So do wept for our elders, not exiles, elders. So that's, see how the words correct themselves when I actually know the story? But we did weep for our elders because they're gone, and they who were taken away, for they will never return. That's true. That now becomes as truthful as it has always been and forevermore. Now those two are going to be grouped together, and I've got to go into this text and now find two more. So let me just show you something here. If I just take this, and if I go and just do this real quick and do this and then grab it and just say clean up, and then clean up. This is what the text looks like when I get done. We did not weep for the dead, nor mourn for them, but we did weep for our elders who were, see, that's what happens when I clean up, were taken away, for they will never return. So that's what happens in my next cleanup. I get to take a better look at the text. Where was that? Right here. Were taken away. But it does help me. I get as far as I can with this text, and then I move on. And I've got a lot of text to go over because this is chapter 22. No. Okay. For thus says YV in regard to Shallum, the son of Josiah, the king for Judah, who became king in the place of Josiah his father. Now this, who became king in his place, so we know that would have been this. But I don't know if this guy actually exists. So let me see something here. I really know that that's not true. Where is my timeline here? My timeline, done by our creators' hidden formats, will shock you. Because this order of the text in all these years, matching with the events pretty much in this timeline, they aren't represented as equal because that's 52 years. This is 39. It's these events that happened right around in that 35 years of all these kings going back and forth for this whole map since King David's time. I've got a 1 plus or minus accuracy on the years. So we can see that the next king is actually this guy here, Jehoiakim. Now, that guy's name has already been mentioned, but we also have Zedekiah, and I've shortened them up to make them easier for everybody to read from now on. This would have been Zedekiah, or I-A-H at the end, guy. So the thing here is this king we're going to be talking about, or this king, because they're both descendants. Sometimes you can see like it's 30 years, but if this guy died for some reason or was too old, oh no, this guy's going to they're just going to kill him. This guy gets killed. Anyways, then this guy becomes king, which would have been one of his sons. So this is wrong here. Now if I can just spell his name, let me put that up over here. And I can spell it from over there. K-I-M. Okay. Now I've got to put this back in place. Oops, I got to get that up a little higher. Okay. Shut it off, and then it'll always be there. Pop up the right size. So this is the right king, and not this. I usually do it like this and say this was, now it has to be, our Creator just doesn't talk. You know, he prophesies and sends out the prophet to tell him about the future. So it always has to be prophesied, but rarely it'll be he was commanded, and then later it's to prophesy. So, and it's not, I like the word this more than I do thus. So this was prophesied by YV. So this was prophesied by YV. Actually, I've got to get rid of this. These words here, it reads better without them. This was prophesied in regard to Jehoiakim. And it's not, we don't know how many really sons he had, so I always use a son and not of, always from. Oops, where's my, getting old. Now, the king that this guy was a good guy. Now, let me tell you a little about this king. Well, let me bring up the chart again because I got to explain how evil these guys were and why. And this is the reason why they went into captivity or were sent off their land. This guy became king, a son from him, but he was very young. So this guy was born in his elder life. He was 14, I think, when he became king. And what happened is he started meditating to have sex with the so-called female goddess. And that we find in Malachi 2:11. Judah, the nation, has married the daughter of a foreign god. The foreign god is sun god. His name is Ra from Egypt. And the daughter or goddess is the moon goddess. Jeremiah will be calling her the queen of heaven, okay? And how they were very corrupt and they were doing all these things that just are under the queen of heaven, okay? Really doing a lot of things. But I probably got to go back here and get my king's map again, or timeline. And what happens is that because the priests were corrupt, that's why the manuscripts were corrupt from this time. This is where I point out that the text, the first writers' formats that I've got here were written before this time. And then these guys come in and started with that text, but rewriting these things. But the priests were so corrupt, and they allowed him to carve an image of a female goddess and stick it in his meeting room with him. Now, this means that our Creator, who is appearing as a light above the mercy seat and speaking from his light, he was still appearing to them at this time, which means from the time that our Creator had actually led them out of Egypt to this time. And I think it's pretty much about, because I think there's like 300 years missing here and a few here. But when you start seeing all the years here, I'm saying about 700 years our Creator appeared to the priests, okay, and prophets. And then what happened is that when this guy became king, this guy was the one that they killed. This was the guy that they killed. he started really doing stupid stuff, but they killed him. And then his other son, Josiah, became a king for 30. And what he did is he picked out new priests, went into the meeting room and had all the priests remove all the crap. They had put in the courtyard altars to the horse gods and other animals and things like that was going on. That was all cleaned out by this guy. And then he told all the people, we're going to start celebrating the statute that our Creator told us to sell, and that is to celebrate the Passover, which is the first day of the year. That would be the summer solstice day. And they were to encamp around Jerusalem in their birth order. And when they did that in Jerusalem, our Creator healed all those people there. And then they went out and started taking down all the stuff that they had put in all their cities. And when you read the other text, they were in the marketplaces, on corners and stuff like this, altars to other gods. It really got carried away back then. But this guy was the last good guy. Don't know why these two sons got stupid here on them, but that's the last great king. And I like the guy. People don't know about him enough to know what's really going on with him. So now, this was prophesied in regard to Jehoiakim, a son from Josiah, who became king in his place. This has already been stated. So it's going to be our king for Judah. And because these guys are bad guys, okay, I try to make sure everybody understands the text as they are bad guys. So first, they got to make them bold, and these will be small caps. If you see a capital letter like this, you can see that it's below that. So this means when you read it this way, this is a bad king. Our king for Judah, who became king in his place. Perfect. That's a good start. But this is not hooking with this, okay? And this is after they're already gone. And this is 5 years before, 10, at least 10 years. We're talking 10, maybe 15 years was this text was written. A lot of the text, when you actually understand it, it tells us where to place it in the timeline. So when all these books go together, I will put them together in that order, the way the text is telling me to put that in the order. And that's what, it's going to take me a few more months to go through all the text, but this will be the last time I'm doing this. And then I'm done, and I'll probably just be preaching or teaching from these books. But right now, just recording why this text is the way it is. Okay. Who went forth from this place, he will never return there. That's wrong. Now that this here is here, that means that it isn't going to be this king. Okay? Remember the timeline. This guy is going to be sent away. But he's not. It's got to be a Jehoiakim and not this king, Jehoiakim, to this guy. Because this guy is going to be in the land. Okay, he's never going to be gone. It's this guy that's going to go into captivity. He is actually going to escape through a passage in the wall of Jerusalem on horses with some of his commanders and his sons, and they're going to catch him on the Jordan River, and then they're going to take that king and going to kill him up closer to Babylon. So this here is like this, but it's really good to know about this guy. And this guy, I've changed his name to Ezek. And that is in regard to Ezek, the son from Jehoiakim, our king for Judah, who became king in his place, who went from this place, he will never return from there. But I don't need this word. He will never return. Who went forth. He didn't went forth nowhere. He was taken. Who was taken. Who was taken. That part is going to be right. This is pretty much saying the word taken. Who was. So put the word was in. Now we have that word correct. Who was taken from this place. And I know he was, like Zeke, I told you, he escaped from Jerusalem, and they caught him down at the Jordan River. So this place has to be, whoops. Wow. Okay. Who was taken from the Jordan River and will never return. Okay, yeah, I don't need the word he. I try to cut out as many words as possible too, just to make the format look beautiful. Who was taken from the Jordan River and will never return. They led him. They took him. The word, I think it was the Chaldeans that caught up with him, so took him as their captive. He will never return. I have to add the word for here in front, and since I'm not using proper English, this was written too long ago to have English involved. So it comes down to, for they took him as their captive. and there he will die. That's what I told you what's going to happen to him. Now I'm looking at these words I got to use, because this words after he dies, this surely can't be written. I mean, that just is a fact that after he dies, this ain't happening. So, but this, when I'm reading it, does read like this. So now this has to be a statement. But in the place where he was taken, he was caught at the Jordan River. He was caught. Caught. You have to have him caught first, right? Caught, not from, by the Jordan River. And now, and will never return. From, let me put it this way, from that place wherever, okay, wherever, have to add that. So they didn't know exactly where he was caught, so they couldn't write it down truthfully. And we know truthfully that's a good way to write. Always be truthful. From that place wherever, they took him as their captive, and there he will die. Took him as their captives, and then he will die. Not there, then he will die. Like I said, I think they took him before, like Nebuchadnezzar, who had come down, but he didn't come down that far. I mean, I think he was like above Lebanon or in that area. So then he will die, not there he will die. Because but I'm thinking it's the Chaldeans. If I remember our creator's hidden format stories as good as I think I do know them, that's what's going to happen there. So, because they kill his sons before him, and I think they actually blind him and then lead him to the king. And then when the king sees him, the king got to kill another king. So that's how it was done back in those days. Now, see that? I got just those 4 verses. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, stuck in the middle of nowhere. And now I'm going to get more text. And this is what was happening before. That some chapters I can go all the way through and get one complete story going all the way through. And I was doing fine until just then. But here we go. Woes to them. It's got to be them. And woes to whomever. Should I use the word whomever? Woes to whomever. And that gets rid of this word. And then it becomes whomever woes to whomever builds their house. And I'm going to say home because I'm trying to use the word house as something that's a little bit larger than a home. And by that, I mean servants, servants, and many people that he took care of. So this has to be home. This is for more common people and less richer, but could also include the richer. So, woes to whomever builds their home without righteousness. That's not right. Righteousness is those who are most obedient to our Creator. And this "nus" part is the act of what they would be doing when you speak of a righteous person. Their righteousness is not like putting themselves first. They put our Creators first. And then in a Psalms, we have the priest being very righteous, and they would lend their money and they would not expect it to come back with a loan, or they didn't even care if they got the money back. They were supposed to help others. Like John had said, if you have two, give one. So, woes to whomever builds their home without justice. You don't have upper rooms in a home. So without justice, without his justice, meaning our Creator's justice. And that's kind of the point of what's going on here. Well, his justice. It has to be or uses their neighbors for work. And I could put unpaid. Unpaid. And what? Where? It's being said here. So this has already been said, so it don't need double text. Now we have a verse missing. Whether it's below it or above it, I'm not sure. I'm not going to worry about it right now because I've got quite a bit of text yet to do here. So it's probably going to take another 45 minutes. So, and here it's going to be again like they took a story and now they're trying to make another story out of the story. But I didn't know they had paint at this time. Now, this is rich person here. This isn't just anybody. This wood comes from Lebanon. And Lebanon actually belongs to Syria at this time until Babylon comes down and conquers them. So this is not right. This would be a very big house, but they all had windows, so that's nothing impressive. But I gotta say, I can't use any of that text. You do not become a king because you're competing in. You do not become of importance because you're competing in cedar. Did not your father eat and drink and do justice and righteous? Then he was well. This is separate from this, and this wouldn't be needed. Did not your forefathers? This means all the ones all the way back when he created his nation. Okay. That's the way forefathers is used many generations back, not the last 80 years. Did not your forefathers do my justice? Yeah, this is saying, this is like our creator talking here. So this is a little bit piecework from wherever. Did not your forefathers do my justice and for their righteousness and for their righteousness well with them, Creator blessed them. And he would be saying, I blessed them. Okay. And for their righteousness I blessed them. That is clean, isn't it? And that's how you understand the word righteousness and how it's used correctly. They pled. They pled. They argued. They judged. They judged for righteousness of the afflicted and needy. But see, that's all I can get out of that. Now, get this up a little bit closer. Then it was, is that not what it means to know me? Declares. Yeah, so this is needed. This isn't needed. Now, it probably could be used someplace else, but right now I'm seeing this text is just appearing out of the blue. So, and then this here is I'm going to have to change this word from this side to this side. Is that not what it means to know me, to obey me? You got to, because I'm using the word righteous here. It's the most, you have to be most obedient to our Creator. And that means the statutes, the commandments, and then there's laws, and then there's guidance. They put him first, so they had to be obey me is the correct word, not just know. But that's the intent of what this word should have been. So I'm not adding it as gray text. So that not what is that not what is meant. It. I'm trying to put other words in to see and test it, and I'm kind of botching it pretty bad there. Is that not what it means to obey me? And I can't use any of these words to be above this. And I don't like it when it's like that, where this is, but your eyes and heart, meaning your eyes were the greedy part, but your eyes and heart your own dishonest gain. Yep, this would be a period. Dishonest gain works, period. But your eyes and heart were only, yeah, it has to be were. Were only for your own gain. Okay. And that does read like that's going to connect. Kind of hard. But it does follow the subject. So this has got to be killing the innocent. And practicing oppression. I'm going to use extortion, and I don't need the word and then go and here, and bribery. I don't think that's how it's spelled, but let's see if I got a good enough start to say change it and say okay. Bribery. Now this is got to be italic and gray that I added it. And adding this word, I'm not really too worried about moving it. It's not an important word to make it yellow. Your own. Their eyes and hearts. But if our Creator is speaking these words, but your eyes and hearts, I gotta say that I messed that up, are only for your gain, or only for their gain. I'm going to have to edit that when I get the text all together, because this is, I'm seeing that he's talking about the group of people, how they got corrupt here, but he's not talking to one individual by saying your eyes. So, but your eyes and hearts, missed that, are only for your own dishonest gain. And by killing the innocent and practicing oppression, extortion, and bribery. Now, let's see here. Therefore, thus says YV. See, now they got the right king put here. No, this was Hezek that up above it. But this is still, this was prophesied by YV. I'm going to have to put that up here. Therefore, this, well, maybe I can use the word therefore. This, oops, don't like that. This was prophesied by YV. In regard to Jehoiakim, and we know who he is. This is almost like if the story has already got Jehoiakim and we know who he is, then this we don't need. Okay, I'm going to just get rid of that. I'm just trying to decide to make sure that that's my final judgment, I guess, on that. But then again, I'll start working on, no, I need that. They will not mourn for him. This, when I read it, that even was read strange when I'm trying to read it there. Because it's being said, right, again, exactly what's being said up here. So let me put this down here. Whoops, that isn't what I want to do. I wanted to copy it. Put it here, then I'll get rid of that. Now this, that surely didn't work. They will not mourn for him. For he will be buried. For he will be buried he will be dragged off and thrown that's beyond it, outside the gates. We know kings live in Jerusalem, so we don't need this. But this, if I do this, it will not mourn for him. Like a donkey's, I think that's donkey's burial. So let me put his name here, and then that will be added, because it is saying he, but I need the name here. It would be buried like a donkey's burial. He will be not off, but out. He will be. Do I need more than off? He'll be dragged away to be thrown outside the gates. That's what it says. That's what that looks like. It goes that way. Now this is funny. Bashan. Now Bashan is supposed to be. Let me see if I can. I'm pretty sure if I was more prepared, I'd have maps ready. But when they came into the promised land, they had Ammon's, and then no, Edoms were here, and then Ammon's were here, and we have stories of them battling it out. But Bashan is supposed to be a kingdom in here. Now this is desert, okay? Very close to this. This is going to be a wasteland for a couple miles, probably a mile. meaning trees that are wind swept from the Sahara Desert. The desert kind of goes up this way like this and kind of over here. So this, they were saying that the Bashan is supposed to be a nation in here, and yet when you look at the mileage marker, these kingdoms were only, maybe 40 miles and then, wide. Some in here were less than 20 square. So you got to understand when a kingdom is mentioned, it's not like Egypt, okay? So where you got a few hundred miles this way and that way. Now, all this, I'm just going to say, is not true. This Lebanon is gone. That's not even called Lebanon anymore. That's Assyria. Until Babylon comes down, takes it. You speak of your prosperity. Not I, you. You speak of your wealth, I guess. Not so much as prosperity. I think I'll change that to wealth. And said, this has to be you will not listen. You will not listen. Out. I'm going to change this to nor. Nor obey my, it's not just voice, my commands. And this is our Creator speaking. So it's kind of, I just want to make sure that's there when I do that. So it's kind of like he's talking here. And this is why he's doing the dragging him out. The wind will sweep away your shepherds, and your lovers will go into captivity. Then you'll be ashamed and humiliated because of all your evilness. But are we now talking about this guy? Because this is talking about captivity. That's not going to happen for another 10 years, maybe 15 years. So, and you who dwell in Lebanon, this we know is not truthful. Our Creator doesn't speak. He's using the nation Israel as his nation to say, if to teach other nations and people how to be onto the true, or how to obey the true creator. So why speak of, he would never speak anything outside Israel. It's always got to be about the land of Israel. Now it's just about the land of Judah. So because this is wrong, I can just do evilness is being against our creator, not wickedness. Evil is what they done to be taken out of the land or cast out. So because of your evilness, you will be ashamed and humiliated because of your evilness. But there it is. That's a format. Yeah, this is for another king at a different time. That's just plain and simple. If he's saying you're into captivities, we can't be talking about a king that's going to be dead and dropped off like a donkey's burial, okay? So this group is going to be gone or someplace else. Now we're back to Jehovah. And you thought you were confused when you read the text. I know what it's saying, and I'm more confused. So let's see here. What can I do? Okay, I'm just checking everything. The stream's pretty good. Let's see what else. Stream is excellent and healthy. Some days it's so easy to stream, and other days I am treated like a sad puppy get kicked around by somebody who's evil. I don't think our creator's individually going to talk to somebody, so that's out. Now here we're in the king of Babylon and into the hands of the Chaldeans. So this into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king for Babylon, and into the hand of Chaldeans. But the thing here is this a statement? And does this in the king for Babylon, comma, and into the hands of the Chaldeans? They were right alongs, okay? They sided with the Babylon when they come down. They approached him and said, hey, we can't beat you, let's join you. Nebuchadnezzar probably told them, gather your men, we'll take you and we'll put you separately in different places, and then we'll see how you do. If you screw up, we just kill you. If not, we'll leave your land alone and say your taxes are now my money. So I guess that reads okay that way then. I will give you over. I guess it's not who, but those. To those. To those seeking your life. And that means captivity. They aren't seeking to kill them. They're seeking to take them. Okay, I'll give you over. That's a period. To those seeking your life, and whom you dread, which would be the Chaldeans. They were most likely probably marauders coming over all the time. So, whoops. And not like this. And then that means those two are a group. Hey, doing pretty good when I get them. I will hurl you and your mother and born to another country where you were not born. Obviously, I mean, our Creator would be pretty stupid saying that word, those words. He knows that. So that's the stupid verse right there, real quick. I will cast you away. This has to be cast. That was the better word that they used. They were outcast that weren't forgiven by our Creator when they tried to make an atonement. That if He come along and said, nope, they were known as cast-offs. So I will cast you away. And this has to be gray. And this is just stupid. I will cast you away into another kingdom. And there you will die. So but this here, if he's going to die, he's surely not going to be able to return. So this is stupid. Just not logically with reason to say that they would do that. He ain't got time. He's being hauled away captive. He's got more things on his mind than saying, when do I think I'm going to return? When he's being led away, probably butt naked too. I'm not sure. Is this the man despised, shattered jar? I don't think any of this is all just made up. Land, hear the words. I don't think so. Our Creator don't speak to the land. Although these guys thought that you would believe that. Thus says YV, write this man down, childless, a male. Childless is this male. But Hazik had sons that, like I said, they went down to the Jordan River. They were killed there. And now, so this doesn't make any sense. This is not truthful as the text I've already done. It's kind of like speaking opposite of it. So, what I've got though, let's do a cleanup. And then I actually have to throw this off the YouTube. I can't really do that on Twitch, and that is to load it up. So what I got to do there is save that. Let me get to, nope, that's the piece I don't want to save. This is where I'm saving it. I'll get down to the end here. And stick it right in here. And grab it again. And a lot of me is just chattering just to chat so you don't fall asleep, or at least me fall asleep. So, that's a grouping. This needs 2 of them. That needs 1. 1, 2. Then this is 1. This comes up here. And then this does need 2. That fits. That goes together. This has already been moved, done with. So this means there's got to be a space for 2. One, and that's the next set. And then, yep, there's text here that's missing, so I'm going to leave an extra big space because this piece is going to go someplace that needs a lot of in here because they're just cutting down the trees to build the ramparts before they're besieged, and because I think it's like 9 months that they are besieged, so that's when famine was to occur on the inside, and lack of water. Okay, and this will be 2 spaces, and this is going to be actually like it was said as 1 space. And then this was like text, I don't know where it's going to go here, but I'm going to use this word, so I will just say I added it. And then this text is separate. And this could go like that, and then this. Okay. Now this, yeah, this is later. This is going to just go someplace. And I don't know where that, yeah, I remember that. Okay, now I've got, and these go together. And yes, this was our creator speaking, so that's going to go together. But this is not going together. So need a little extra space there. Now, I think there's going to be extra space here. We got a lot of pieces. A lot of pieces. But this is going to be a group. And I think I'm going to leave a space there. And now this could be tied together as the next group. And then this group, I've got text missing. But I got to put all the commas in here and periods and highlight all the text that it got to be like that. And honor and respect our Creator by using all capital words. But these are the words. I'm going to let you take a screenshot here. So I'm going to go up here. Wow, I got a lot of words out of 2022, more than normal. That's quite a lot of words. But you should be able to take screenshots and then you'll be able to put it together. And a little bit of work, but it's better than waiting 4 months for me. Anyways, you guys have a good day. And obey our Creator. Walk into heaven with upright head, and be righteous. Say, I obeyed our Creator on earth, where He asked me, and I did. And then you're a good forever. Got goodness in your heart. You're righteous. Okay. I'm going to call it an end here. Oops, I got to stop Twitch first. And then here.